The second I grabbed that doorknob, I knew something was wrong. It wouldn't turn, like it was welded in place. Not stuck, not locked, just dead. My first instinct? Grab my phone. I always left it in my pants pocket, hanging on the coat rack. Except my clothes were gone. Everything. No pants, no hoodie, no jacket, and remember the blanket and pillow were missing too. It was like someone had scrubbed the room clean, wiped me out of my own space. For a second, I thought, what if this is some twisted Truman Show type situation? Some rich freak trapping me in this tiny studio, watching me go insane. I looked toward the window. Maybe I could call for help? But something made me stop. It was too quiet outside. No cars, no lights, no noise. I checked the wall clock above the fridge. Exactly midnight, and that made 0 sense. I remember clearly it was 11:30 when I left the arcade out of quarters. Then I ran home, ran back, played more, lost my glasses, found the weird pair, came home again, set up my GameBot, fell asleep. No way that all took just 30 minutes. I squinted at the clock. I'm basically blind without glasses. So I leaned in closer. Then I realized the second hand wasn't moving. None of them were. Frozen. A chill ran through my entire body. Not just fear, something deeper. Like dread. I whispered under my breath, "No. No, no, no. This couldn't be real. There's no way." I peeked out the window. This was LA. Even outside the city, you still heard things: sirens, traffic, people shouting. But now? Nothing. No lights. No movement. No sound. Even the view outside it looked just like my room, grayscale. Like night vision, but without the green tint. I could see shapes, outlines, but everything was drained of life, except those glasses. The ones I found, still sitting on the table. Their black frames were crystal clear, almost too sharp, too real. That's when I told myself this has to be a dream, a nightmare. So I went back to bed, but the mattress wasn't soft anymore. It was stiff, cold, almost like laying on concrete. Still, I lay down, closed my eyes, tried to convince myself I'd wake up soon. But time didn't move, and neither did anything else. There were no sounds, no creaks, no air, and without a blanket or pillow, I felt exposed, raw. That's when I learned something. Even in the hottest summer night, sleeping without a blanket can be terrifying. I kept telling myself it was just a dream. Just sleep, and I'd wake up. But every second dragged. I could feel the cold against my skin, the texture of the mattress, the pressure on my shoulders. Too vivid. So vivid it couldn't be a dream. But it had to be. I clenched my eyes shut, wishing anything would knock me out. Like in horror movies, where the character just faints. But reality doesn't work like that. I didn't faint, didn't scream. I just laid there, frozen. Eventually, I started counting sheep. Didn't help. Out of desperation, I started thinking about sex. Not proud of it, but when your brain's spiraling, you'll try anything to feel normal. It worked, kind of. Didn't exactly do much physically, but it kept me from losing it. Then I started humming pop songs, reciting random movie lines, thinking of video games, anything to distract myself. And eventually, somehow, I fell asleep. When I woke up, the blanket was back. My pillow too. Clothes on the hanger, clock ticking like nothing ever happened. I checked the glasses, still on the nightstand. I let out a breath I didn't realize I was holding. It was just a dream. Or, that's what I told myself. Then I glanced at the time, 10:45 a.m. Shit. My lecture at the cram school started at 10:30. Good thing it was nearby, just a block over my place. I splashed water on my face, grabbed my clothes, threw on the glasses and bolted. There's this tiny crosswalk right outside my place, barely 20 feet wide. But the traffic is insane. Normally, I'd wait for the light. But today, the street was clear. So I sprinted. Halfway across, someone yelled. I turned my head. A massive city bus screeched to a halt inches from my body. The driver, who has a white-haired older man, was shouting at me from behind the wheel. I just mouthed, "Sorry," and ran to class. At the time, I thought it was my fault. That I was just distracted, sleep deprived, stupid. But what I didn't realize was that none of this started because of me. It started the moment I put on those glasses.